our shirt on Teespring.
Donald John Trump, a name synonymous with wealth, opulence, and a particular brand of American brashness. Yet, throughout his career, from real estate mogul to reality TV star, and ultimately the 45th President of the United States, Trump has been trailed by a shadow, a persistent stain on his legacy, the specter of racism. This essay delves into the numerous instances where Trump's words and actions ignited outrage, stoked racial tensions, and left an indelible mark on the American psyche. From his early days grappling with housing discrimination lawsuits to his incendiary rhetoric on the campaign trail in the Oval Office, we explore the impact of Trump's racially charged pronouncements. This is not a tale of whispers and innuendo. It is a chronicle of public pronouncements, documented actions, and the raw, visceral reactions they elicited. We will examine key incidents, analyze their impact, and include perspectives from scholars, public figures, and most importantly, the voices of those most affected by Trump's rhetoric. This is the story of how America grappled with the ghost of racism in the age of Trump. The roots of Trump's contentious relationship with race can be traced back to the very foundation of his business empire. His early ventures in real estate were not just about building an empire, but also about navigating the complex social and racial dynamics of the time. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice sued Trump Management Corporation, alleging a pattern of racial discrimination in their housing practices. This lawsuit was a pivotal moment, highlighting the systemic issues within the real estate industry and the broader societal challenges of the era. The lawsuit, a significant moment in Trump's early career, accused the company of refusing to rent apartments to black tenants and lying about apartment availability to steer them away. This was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of exclusionary practices that were all too common in the housing market of the 1970s. This was not a matter of subtle bias. The DOJ presented evidence of blatant discrimination, including coded language used by rental agents and stark disparities in the racial makeup of Trump's properties. The evidence was compelling, painting a clear picture of intentional and systematic exclusion. While Trump eventually settled the lawsuit without admitting wrongdoing, the incident cast a long shadow, foreshadowing the racial controversies that would come to define his career. The settlement included provisions to ensure non-discriminatory practices, but the impact of the case lingered. The 1973 housing discrimination case serves as an early warning sign, a glimpse into the mindset that would later manifest itself on a national stage. It was a precursor to the more overt racial issues that would arise in Trump's public life and political career. It established a pattern of behavior, a disregard for the sensitivities of minority communities and a willingness to exploit racial divisions for personal gain. This pattern would become more pronounced as Trump moved from the world of real estate to the world of politics. While Trump's defenders would later argue that this was a youthful indiscretion, a product of a different time, the echoes of the 1973 lawsuit reverberated throughout his presidency, serving as a stark reminder of his complicated history with race. The case remains a significant chapter in understanding the complexities and controversies that have surrounded Trump for decades. The election of Barack Obama, America's first black president, marked a watershed moment in the nation's history. It was a moment of hope and progress, symbolizing a significant step forward in the long struggle for racial equality in the United States. Yet it also provided fertile ground for the rise of a particularly insidious form of racism, birtherism. This movement, fueled by unfounded conspiracy theories, sought to undermine the legitimacy of Obama's presidency by questioning his birthplace and, by extension, his right to hold the highest office in the land. This conspiracy theory, which questioned Obama's legitimacy as president by falsely claiming he was not born in the United States, found a vocal and persistent champion in Donald Trump. Trump, a prominent businessman and media personality, seized upon birtherism as a means to gain political traction and media attention. Trump's embrace of birtherism was not a passing flirtation. It was a full-fledged crusade. He relentlessly promoted the false narrative, using his considerable influence to amplify the baseless claims and sow doubt among the American public. He used his platform as a media personality and businessman to repeatedly cast doubt on Obama's birthplace, demanding to see his birth certificate and promoting unfounded allegations about his background. Trump's persistent efforts to delegitimize Obama were not just about political rivalry, they were deeply rooted in racial prejudice. This relentless assault on Obama's legitimacy was deeply unsettling, not only for its blatant disregard for the truth, but also for its underlying message, that a black man could never truly be a legitimate American president. The implications of this message were far-reaching, affecting not just Obama, but the broader African-American community. Trump's birtherism tapped into a deep vein of racism and xenophobia, legitimizing the fears and prejudices of those who refused to accept Obama's presidency. It gave a veneer of respectability to racist sentiments that had long simmered beneath the surface of American society. The impact of Trump's birtherism campaign was profound. It not only poisoned the political discourse, but also eroded trust in institutions and the democratic process. The constant questioning of Obama's legitimacy created a climate of suspicion and division. It poisoned the political discourse, eroded trust in institutions, and provided a platform for white supremacist groups who found common cause in their shared animosity towards Obama. The birtherism movement, championed by Trump, left a lasting scar on the American political landscape, highlighting the enduring power of racism and prejudice in shaping public opinion and policy. In 1989, New York City was gripped by the horrific assault and rape of a young white woman jogging in Central Park. The incident sent shockwaves through the city, igniting a media frenzy and a public outcry for justice. The pressure to solve the case quickly was immense, and the police were under intense scrutiny to deliver results. 5 teenagers, 4 Black and 1 Latino, were arrested and convicted in a case riddled with inconsistencies and coerced confessions. The young men, known as the Central Park Five, were subjected to hours of intense interrogation without the presence of their parents or legal counsel, leading to false confessions that would later be recanted. Despite their eventual exoneration through DNA evidence and the confession of the actual perpetrator, Donald Trump remained fixated on the case, becoming a vocal advocate for the Central Park Five's guilt. His stance was unwavering, even as the truth emerged, revealing the deep flaws in the investigation and prosecution. Even after their release, Trump took out full-page ads in New York City newspapers calling for the death penalty for the accused teenagers. These ads were a stark reminder of the racial tensions and the fervor for retribution that clouded the pursuit of justice. His pronouncements, laced with racial animus, ignored the clear evidence of their innocence and fueled the fires of racial injustice. The case became a symbol of the systemic racism that pervades the criminal justice system, highlighting the prejudices that can lead to wrongful convictions. Trump's unwavering belief in the Central Park Five's guilt, even in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary, revealed a deeply troubling aspect of his worldview, a worldview where Black and brown men are inherently suspicious, guilty until proven innocent. This perspective not only affected the lives of the Central Park Five, but also resonated with broader societal issues of race and justice. The Central Park Five case became emblematic of Trump's approach to race and justice. It underscored his willingness to ignore facts and perpetuate harmful stereotypes, contributing to a climate of fear and division. It highlighted his willingness to exploit racial divisions, his disregard for due process, and his persistent belief in a narrative that demonized young men of color. The case remains a poignant reminder of the dangers of prejudice and the importance of fighting for a fair and just legal system for all. In the midst of growing tensions, words became weapons. Political leaders used rhetoric to sway public opinion, often deepening the divide. Speeches were crafted to appeal to emotions, stirring both hope and fear. As the nation grappled with its identity, the power of language became undeniable. Each word, each phrase carried weight, shaping the course of history. It was a time when the art of persuasion was wielded with precision, for better or for worse. This was a defining moment. The words spoken resonated far beyond the immediate audience, leaving an indelible mark on the political landscape. It was not just a speech, but a declaration that would shape the discourse for years to come. Over time, a clear pattern of disrespect emerged. It wasn't isolated incidents, but a consistent behavior that raised eyebrows and questions. This pattern was not only troubling, but also indicative of deeper issues within the political sphere. Women of color in Congress found themselves particularly targeted. The rhetoric directed at them was not only harsh, but often laced with undertones of racism and sexism. This targeting was a stark reminder of the challenges faced by minority women in positions of power. Public opinion was sharply divided. While some saw the rhetoric as a bold stance, others viewed it as dangerously divisive. The legacy of Trump's rhetoric remains a contentious topic, influencing political dialogues and public perceptions to this day.